In France, where police have arrested nearly 300 people amid widespread anti-government protests. In Paris, clashes erupted as police fired tear gas to disperse crowds. Meanwhile, firefighters were called to a downtown neighborhood after a restaurant that was set fire to threatened to spread to nearby buildings. Well, across the country, roadblocks, traffic jams and demonstrations have brought daily life to a halt. Still, today's protests fell short of the movement's bold call to block everything. Authorities have prepared for the worst, deploying 80,000 police officers nationwide. Well, let's get the latest now from the ground. France 24's James Andre is standing by for us at Place de la République. James, just bring us up to speed with what's happening where you are.
Well, look, right now what we have is a bit of that police action you were talking about unfolding before our very eyes here on la Place de la République. It is the end of a day of protests. It's raining, as you can see behind me, and indeed, well, there was a small group of protesters, the last ones, if you will, who were, wanting to stay as long as possible, who started setting fire to some dustbins and bicycles, and indeed, well, the firefighters had to intervene, and then the police, basically around 7:30, decided to storm this square behind me using tear gas and basically push those last protesters away. Now, what we have is, some clashes, but to be honest, it's been a reasonably calm day here in Paris, with no major blockades when it comes to the, Parisian ring road, the périphérique. There have been some groups that managed to, disrupt daily life here in the capital, including at Les Halles. That was earlier on this afternoon. That's a central part of Paris, where the police decided to have all the shops closed, as well as a very large shopping mall. That's one of the main ones in central Paris, because they were afraid that there might be looting in these shops. Also, one restaurant was set on fire. So that gives you an idea of the intensity of some of these gatherings. Others were really rather calm, like the one we saw with my colleague Julie Dungelhoff at the Gare du Nord. That's the North Station here in Paris that can take passengers to Belgium, Germany or the United Kingdom. Well, there was some minor disruption. The protesters didn't manage to actually enter the train station, but there was a sitting and an assembly there where the future of the movement was discussed. So I was discussing just earlier on with one of these young protesters here on the square. He was telling me that he felt that the mobilization had not been that huge. The figures are the following for France. I just saw this in an official handout. Basically, 175,000 to 250,000 protesters came out across the whole of the country, a few thousand here in Paris, but also in some of France's main cities. And there was also actions on roundabouts across the country where the protesters were trying to block the traffic.
Well, James, I know you've been speaking to protesters today. What have they been telling you?
Well, look, the protesters, it's interesting because, this is not a structured movement. There are no leaders. There is no official, I'd say, basically official base for this movement. So when you speak to protesters, a lot of them will give you different answers. It's very much a mixed bag. A lot of people told us that they felt they needed to come out here today, specifically at the Place de la République, because of the Israeli-Palestinian conflicts. They were wearing Palestinian flags, and indeed were very critic of France's foreign affairs policy. Others were telling us that they wanted to see Emmanuel Macron step down. A lot of people told us that they were disappointed with the appointment of Sébastien Lecornu as a new prime minister, saying that for them it was more of the same, that they needed to send a message that this was not the governance they wanted for France. And we spoke to a lot of very young protesters, including this morning when we went to a high school that had been blocked with dustbins, and indeed courses were suspended. These young people were saying that they feel that they don't really have their say in what's happening in French politics at the moment, that they feel that they're being targeted by some credit cuts, and that they feel that they absolutely need to take action. So this is what people were telling us today. Also, people telling us this evening that they felt that the movement had not been as massive as they were hoping, and that indeed the next step needed to be discussed at this stage, but indeed that they were still mobilized.
James, thank you so much for that update. Thank you for bringing us up to speed there.